Tough night.
Hey, coffee here, Reg?
Can you tell me where I can get reception on this thing?
USS Enterprise?
Thanks. Nice threads. You know, Sonny and Cher broke up, right?
Sonny and Cher broke up?
One of the things we don't often consider when thinking about technology is the invention of fire, the wheel, written language tools. All that is considered technology, and one of the things we know is that it's ever-changing and always advancing. For the good or ill of humanity is what we have to determine. In Chapter 13, Langdon Winter writes about, well, he mentions Mumford, Lewis Mumford. In reading about Mumford, he had a study on garden apartments, and their design and layout with one entry point, and it was very communal. It was very man-oriented, a democratic structure of technology. It was these garden apartments were socially motivated and structured as such. One of the other social constructs was the local taverns, where, being from Philadelphia, there was pretty much a tavern on every corner, and they were predominantly based on ethnicity. You had an Irish tavern, you had a Polish tavern, you had a German tavern, and these taverns were where the exchange of ideas happened. For example, the Marine Corps was invented, created, and implemented in Tun Tavern in Philadelphia, PA. In Chapter 31 of our text, Torrin Monahan talks about cybersecurity, and he tends to lean towards our rights as people to have freedom and not be surveilled. And he also states that indeed most crimes, violent or otherwise, are not prevented by surveillance. This kind of statement doesn't make any sense because it can't be quantified. We can't measure how many crimes were prevented by criminals looking, seeing a camera, and not committing the crime. So, since it's not quantitative, that statement is moot. It makes no sense because there's no way we can measure that. I think what he's missing is the fact that surveillance does prevent crime. Whether again, for good or ill, we're giving up some of our freedoms or whatever. But the York Daily Record on Tuesday, May 31st, had an article where surveillance of these sites led to the capture of a man, shown here, before he could attack two 14-year-old girls that he was preying upon on Craigslist. The pedophiles, they scour social media sites like Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, and even Craigslist, searching for their young victims. And if we didn't surveil these sites and be vigilant in it, imagine all the children that just would be taken and lost. And in that brings us to social media and who protects the public from the anonymity of others.
What's up, guys? I'm Kobe Person. How easy is it for a pedophile to pick up an underage child using social media? Well, today we're gonna find that out. I made a fake profile on Facebook posing as a 15-year-old boy. With the parents' permission, I friend requested 3 girls ages 14, 13, and 12 years old. I've been talking to these girls for the last 3 or 4 days, and today we're supposed to meet up. What we found in this video is shocking and something everyone should see. Be sure to watch until the end and use what we've learned in this video to better educate your friends and family. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. This first girl, her name is Michaela. She's 13 years old. We've been talking on Facebook for the last couple of days, and we're supposed to meet up at the park later when her parents leave the house. I'm just waiting right now to get the text that her parents have left the house. So I just got a text. My parents just left. I can be at the park in 10 minutes. We're gonna go see if she comes in 10 minutes. We're gonna go right now, set up all the cameras, and just be waiting there for her. So she said she's gonna meet me at the park playground. So This is the closest to her house, she said. So right now I'm texting her that I just got here. All right, I'll just wait, see what she says. She said, okay, I'll be there in 5 minutes. Oh, she's coming, yep. Michaela?
Where are you?
From Facebook. Remember?
Michaela! Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind?
Sorry.
He could have been a rapist. He could have been a pedophile. Why would you do this?
Sorry.
Yeah, you know that I could have been anyone. Like you talked to me for the last 4 days. You've been talking to me on Facebook. Do you know that? Like, you shouldn't talk to strangers, especially online. Like, I wasn't even do I look the same as my picture? It could be even worse than that.
You realize how scary this could have been? Man, we have to talk.
Claim the world is getting smaller in relation to the immediate contact we now have globally. Is that true, or is it just because we're all locked away in our rooms staring at a Facebook or Twitter page? Which kind of reminds me of the movie The Matrix. And how far are we from that with VR on the horizon? Will we soon be able to Skype virtually with others and we think that's a real occurrence? So let's talk about what's so wrong about social media isolationism. First of all, we lose the ability to learn the talents of actual social interactions. And most importantly, we can't edit what we say like we can on Facebook or Twitter before we hit send. And due to the perceived anonymity of social media, we often don't filter what we say. Once you send it, everyone sees it and it's out there forever. Hateful and threatening posts, also known as cyberbullying, have caused people to commit suicide, and even the senders have been jailed as a result. So how dangerous are the underlying results of our isolated socio-technical egos? Well, we become oblivious to our own actions and a danger to ourselves and others, as we can see from the video posted here. People walking on their phones and not paying attention, getting hit and killed by cars and buses and everything else. The National Highway Safety Commission says that 11 teens a day die from texting while driving, and that's more than from DWI. This has also raised a lot of legislation. According to Faith Saley from CBS News, last year more people died from selfies than from shark attacks, which also created some legislation as far as Mumbai outlawed selfies after 19 deaths occurred there, and Pamplona outlawed selfies during the running of the bulls, which calls into question our intelligence. So what solutions do we have available to us? Well, first of all, we have parental controls. Parents have a tendency to give a young child their phone in order to keep them entertained and somewhat quiet. This creates an early dependency on the very technology that's becoming a rising danger to everyone. Although I'm against extensive government regulations, especially where family is concerned, there needs to be some legislation that can hold parents accountable for the actions of their children in regards to their electronic use. Parents of teenagers can limit the amount of screen time their children have access to, which would make them more socially and personally interactive. This can be done by scheduling like game nights where board games are played with family or friends, or even scheduling a movie night where you're not so much interacting on social media and talking about a movie or a show while you're watching it. Next thing is driving and walking. Could a technology be developed to disable a phone once the ignition switch is turned on, much like a breathalyzer on an ignition for DUI convictions? This could perhaps greatly decrease the number of accidents and deaths related to texting and driving. Could we develop a technology that senses motion while texting and periodically interrupts the user and instructs them to look away from the screen? This can be achieved through facial recognition software. This would also help people avoid walking into traffic and poles and everything else while texting or looking on Facebook. And we also have to be more self-disciplined. We need to be self-aware and self-limiting on the amount of time and the importance we put on our electronic devices. In conclusion, I use social media outlets. I use them to keep in touch with family and friends that are both near and far away. I'll check these sites when I have some downtime if I see a new post or a comment or something. I prefer texting over talking on the phone since it's much more concise and to the point. Working odd hours, being a volunteer fireman, I often don't have the ability to answer my phone, and many of my friends are firemen also. I would send a text asking them to call me when they get a chance if I need to talk to them at all. All of them seem to appreciate this message. And also, when I have people over, we're having a barbecue or something, I require FaceTime and no screen time, and I make that clear to everyone.